Hello viewers, Super GT here. Welcome to my first impressions of Grid 2019. So I'm going to answer the question, which players will this game appeal to the most? So you may be, watching this thinking, am I going to like this game? Is this game for me? So hopefully this will answer that question. So thank you to Codemasters. This is a sponsored video, and there is a link in the description to go and have a look at the game. But without further ado, we're going to get straight into it. And the first thing I wanted to do is do this test here at Barcelona. So what I was going to do is just do 5 laps here at Barcelona in the touring car and compare the assists on to the assists off. So if you go to the difficulty settings, at the bottom of the screen there's ABS, traction control and stability, all on 5, which is the highest setting. So I'm getting the maximum assist from the game. And we're going to compare how this is in terms of speed compared to having them completely off. And I think the main thing here really, just to point out straight away, is that yes, there's loads of assists, you can turn them on, so this does suit the casual player. So if you are new to racing games, you can easily access this game by having all these settings on. That makes it a lot easier. But at the same time, we're going to see it when I turn the assists off, that it is actually quite a lot of a challenge to try to nail a lap when the assists are off. And in that sense, I would say this game does very much suit. You still got the casual players who the game will suit, and at the same time, people who are sort of more from a sim racing background maybe, or just really into their racing games. Those guys will be happy as well, because it's still a challenge to try to extract the most out of the car on any given track, any given car. So, completing the first lap here with the assists on, and it's a 156, and then the next lap that's actually very consistent, so a 156 as well, like 0.033 away from my first lap time, so pretty close. The main difference with the assists on, or the main thing about the assists on, is that the car is really sort of holding you back. It's especially with traction control, it makes it easier to drive, but it's holding you back on the exit of the corner. We've just turned the assists off. My third lap time was actually again 0.033 away from my initial time, so very, very close indeed. But now we've turned the assists off, so what is the difference? Well, really the car just accelerates a lot quicker because we've got the TCS off. When you've got the stability off, it wants to slide a lot more and oversteer, so you have to be really careful with how you control the car. And then with the ABS off, it wants to lock up the wheels when you press the brake. So it is very much an arcade game in the way that it feels with the physics. It is quite slidey and fast feeling, and there's nothing wrong with that. I really like it. In fact, I really enjoyed the first Grid back in 2008. And it's actually very similar, so those of you who are familiar with the first game will be happy with how this one feels. But yes, it's an arcade game, but it has elements of sim about it. So things like having to threshold brake, make sure you don't lock up the brakes, making sure you don't smash the throttle, otherwise you'll spin. When you're going over curbs, make sure you don't, again, smash the throttle too much or steer too much, because you'll spin the car out. So yes, it's arcade. And there's nothing wrong with arcade. I love an arcade game, but it has elements of sim as well. So there's real sort of a good sort of mix between the two, and I feel as though that is kind of a good middle ground. It will sort of suit the play style of casual players and of more elite players. So we're going to come up to the end of the 5th lap here. So on the first lap with the assists off, we improved by 4.3 seconds. On this lap, we improved by another, I think, 1.5 seconds. So you can see the big difference there. We've saved 5-6 seconds by having the assists off. That puts us number 1 in the world out of 3 people. But let's not mention that. And the fact that no one's got the game just yet, really. And I'm playing this before the actual release. But let's not mention that. So, quick summary there really is just that. The physics arcadey, but they have a sort of a blend of sim racing elements. We're going to have a quick look at the career mode here. So there's loads of different choices you can make. You don't really have to kind of do it in sort of a linear sequence. You just choose whichever discipline you want and then go about doing that one. There's the Fernando Alonso section where you culminate in hopefully sending Alonso to the Shadow Realm at the end of it. So he features quite heavily in the game. You've also got this sort of team driver roster section where you can choose a teammate. A guy called Sam Quickly. If this guy is not quick, I will be very unhappy. But the teammate aspect is pretty cool. You can choose your teammate and they can sort of block other people, attack other people, and then they're good and bad at those different things. And then you've got these player cards which you can edit. We're going to take another look here at another race, this time in the Honda S2000. And I think this race here kind of demonstrates the different personalities of the driver. So this is the AI. Haven't done any multiplayer gameplay as of yet, but we're just going to take a quick look at what it's like to start smashing the crap out of your opponents. So I've developed a nemesis at turn 1, which sounds about right for Mr. Ram Shadow. It's kind of par for the course of a Mr. Ram Shadow race. And you see the car spinning out there as I've just got the power a little bit too early, a little bit too much, a little bit too much steering angle. The car wanted to go round. So it's not one of those, it's not like one of those games where you can just go around every corner at a million miles an hour. You do actually have to brake. You have to really think about what you're doing if you really want to get as fast as possible. So moving up the order here, up into 3rd place. And the main thing here really is that if you look at the radar, you've got this red dot. So that is my nemesis, who is now presumably hell-bent on sending Ram Shadow to the Shadow Realm. I'm not sure that's possible. I think that's like Googling Google. I think the whole world just explodes. So Ram Shadow can't actually be sent, can't be rammed to the Shadow Realm. It's actually impossible. So we continue here, nice aggressive pass, and then smashing off the wall here. And we've developed a nice little gap at the front, albeit to everyone else apart from our nemesis, who seems to be hell-bent again on hunting us down. So this guy is more to the aggressive side of the spectrum. I see. I just let this inside go and he just went for a massive lunge of the century. I'm just toying with this guy now as we have, I think it's the final corner now. As you come through here, the car almost slightly, again, when you get on those curbs, it's pretty dangerous. You can really actually spin out quite easily. So you've got to be very careful with your throttle input and your steering input when you touch those curbs. You've got to be very careful about that. But we're going to cross the line to eventually win that race, get an achievement. Next contestant, please. But, okay, you may be wondering, what is this game like on a wheel? So all the gameplay you've seen so far in this video was done on a controller, on the PS4. But what is it like to play on the wheel? I'm going to be using my Fanatec direct drive wheel here. So I just plugged it in, you map it, you map your buttons, change set primary device, etc. And then you're in. So I'm playing with the wheel now, with the one of the 2 dash cams that you get here, or in what do you call it, cockpit cams. And you know what? It is actually very, very manageable. I was actually surprised by this. When I first looked at Grid, I always thought that's a controller game for sure. But when I started playing it on the wheel here, it was remarkably smooth. It is quite hard to get used to because you really can carry quite a lot of speed, more than you're used to from other sim racing games. You see there through turn 1, they're sort of almost F1 level speeds, but once you get used to it, it's actually very, very smooth indeed. With the pedals, it just worked really nicely, moderating the brake, moderating the throttle, and then just trying to be as smooth as possible on the steering. So you can excuse some of the bad driving here, as I'm not completely used to it. So for those of you wishing to play this on the wheel, I think you'll be happy, because I think the way that it feels is actually very, very good. It just feels smooth, feels nice, feels easy to manage, and I didn't really come across any issues with the way that it felt. So in terms of wheel, it ticks that box for me. The controller, absolutely fine as well. In fact, I think it's probably easier to be smoother on the wheel, as it probably normally is on most games. So I was actually very, very happy with how that worked. So we're going to skip ahead to this Okutama sprint circuit. Now, for those of you who played the original Grid, this is an absolute classic. There's lots of returning circuits from the first game, and these races, none of them will be the same. With the way that the opponents act, you can change all the time of day and everything like that, and the amount of opponents, the weather, etc., and the aggression. As you experience some aggression here, so I actually used a flashback, and then it actually went completely not to plan. It went even worse that time. But yeah, Okutama here, this really is, for me, a blast from the past, back from the original game in 2008. This was the track I probably did about 1 billion laps on, and that is actually no exaggeration. It might be 2 billion, if anything. And we're doing it in the Mitsubishi Evo, beastly Lance, I think Evo 6 here. And yeah, this is a track that is a great blast from the past to come back to this one. There's about, I think it's 80 configurations of tracks in total. It's about 10 locations or 11 locations, and then about 80 different layouts, including some reverse layouts. But it's this one. This was my favourite from the original game, and it just really does bring back some nice memories. But yeah, the way that this game feels, we kind of touched upon this earlier. For those of you who played the original one in 2008, to me, from what I can remember, it's been a while, but from what I can remember, it does feel similar. Once you get used to it, as I'm just cutting all these corners here, Jesus Christ, and the stewards will not be happy with me there. But it does feel similar. The way that it feels is good and accessible. It's accessible, at the same time it would require a lot of skill and sort of dedication to get really to the top of those leaderboards. And yes, there are leaderboards, you can check your top scores and everything of all the tracks and all the disciplines, so that is possible. So let's just have a look at this race here then, as we come to the end of the video. So of course, if you have any questions, any thoughts on the game, then please do ask in the comments down below, and I'll do my best to answer you. So just a quick sort of sum up of what we've seen. So the physics, arcadey with elements of sim about it, accessible to casual players and sim players alike. I think all players can be happy with this game. I think it will suit, sort of anyone's playstyle. I think you can make a case for this game for any type of player. You've got the career mode where you can kind of just go about it the way that you want, and I'll be doing that. I'll be doing my own sort of career mode as live streams. I think it's probably best to do that as a live stream. And then you've got all the progression and different race modes, etc. I'm not sure what happened there. This guy just completely flipped out, literally, and just sent himself into the wall with a quite honestly nice somersault. So fair play to him. But yeah, I'm really happy with this game. I love the first one. I've said that 1 billion times, but I love the first one, and this one feels very good and similar to me. So I got a penalty there. I thought I finished third, but no. Super GT video confirmed. I eventually finished in 6th place. So a couple of different races for you there. I'm really looking forward to getting stuck in with this game and having to go on the multiplayer, especially. So I haven't featured the multiplayer in this video, but that is going to come very soon on the channel. So make sure you stick around for that. But that does bring a close to the video. I do hope you've enjoyed it. Again, if you have any thoughts, any questions, then please do let me know. But yeah, to summarise, I think a game that can be very much enjoyed by your casual player and your more sort of elite sim racing player. You can definitely have a blast with this, and then everyone else in between. So maybe just give it a go, see what you think. But that is all from me. I hope you've enjoyed it. Let me know your questions, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.